I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go. As long as I have my friends with me.
Welcome. How can I help you? Come take a look. There will definitely be something that catches your eye.
It's been getting quite busy recently.
Traveler, Paimon, it's been a long time.
Oh, hey, Hoishin! Long time no see! Fancy meeting you here. How's work these days?
Thanks to the help of people like you and colleagues like Ganyu, better all the time. But I've been feeling distracted at work lately. I just feel constantly agitated. It's a long story. But my father, he's thinking of stepping down from the Tianshu position due to health issues.
Huh? What's wrong with Uncle Tian?
Nothing specifically. He's not unwell. He says he's just increasingly low on energy these days. He's always said, old age comes for us all in the end. Still, I just can't help but feel a little emotional watching it happen to him. Anyway, my father's currently on the second floor of Yangsheng Tea House. Why don't you come pay him a visit with me? He seems very fond of you, too. I'm sure chatting with you will make him very happy.
Sure, let's go. Uncle Tian, we're here to chat with you.
Oh? What a lovely surprise. Welcome. Hoishin, why don't you go downstairs and get the shopkeeper to make us a fresh pot of tea? I heard that you've been traveling all over the place recently. I would very much like to hear your adventure stories. Hoishin told you, didn't she? Don't worry. I'm quite all right. It's just the years gradually catching up with me. As I grow older, I'm starting to find that with many things, though the mind is willing, the flesh is weak. Especially recently, I've noticed a rather drastic drop in my energy levels. I am still very much in good standing as the Tianshu today. Nevertheless, I wish to pass on the position before my mental acuity begins to decline beyond redemption.
How difficult is it to transfer the Tianshu position?
Oh, well, you see, The Tianshu is a rather unique position among the Liyue Qixing. Historically speaking, the Tianshu rarely appears in public. We stay behind the scenes, planning and giving advice, so a public selection process would not be suitable. We also want to keep any prospective Tianshu candidates free from influence by outside forces, so we tend to be as discreet as possible in their assessment and appointment. For these reasons, the incumbent Tianshu typically recommends their candidate of choice, and this is then approved by the other Qixing members.
So in other words, you pick someone, and then Lady Keqing, Lady Ningguang, and the other Qixing appoint them?
Correct. Unfortunately, due to my health, I won't be able to assess every candidate myself. Not to despair, however, because I found someone exceptionally capable to act on my behalf as assessment officer. In fact, I believe you recently became acquainted with her yourself.
Oh? Who is it?
I'm heartbroken. I thought it might take you a little longer than this to forget all about me.
It's Yelan!
Jackpot. Uncle Tian here asked me to assess 3 candidates for him. Fancy joining me? You'll be among the first to get to know the next Tianshu. Might be a good opportunity for you.
What do you think? Paimon thinks so too. It can't be a bad thing to be on good terms with a new Qixing, right?
All right then. Though, I gotta say, Uncle Tian, you say you're into behind-the-scenes planning? My work's of the covert variety, too. Don't you think I might make a good Tianshu?
Huh? Yelan, you want to be the next Tianshu?
I'm not opposed to the idea, but I suspect Ningguang wouldn't let you go very easily after how long you've been working together. So, how about this? If your investigation reveals that none of the other candidates are qualified for the position, I'll recommend you for the job.
Deal. Well, you guys take your time. Everything's all set for the assessments to go ahead. Meet me on the first floor when you're ready. Until then, have a pleasant conversation. Oh, and no need to pay for your tea. As the new owner of this fine establishment, this runs on the house. You're all set?
Uncle Tian seems really worn down. It's like all his energy's gone.
Yeah, it may sound harsh, but Uncle Tian is past his prime. He's not cut out for this anymore. So he's recommended 3 candidates. Their names are Qinwei, Mingbo, and Zhi. Qinwei is a wealthy entrepreneur. Mingbo works at the Liyue Ministry of Civil Affairs, and Zhi is focused on study and travel. Try to keep all that in mind. Of course, it doesn't really matter if you forget, since we'll be assessing them at Yuehai Pavilion in a short while.
Qianwei, Mingbo, Zhi. Paimon should be able to remember their names, but what does the assessment involve exactly?
Let's leave that until we get to Yuehai Pavilion. All right. Heads in the game, people. The stakes don't get much higher than a change in the Qixing. We can't afford to miss any...
Got it. We'll keep our eyes wide open.
My legs are getting sore. What is wrong with this assessment officer? This is a huge occasion and I don't even get a chair. I've dealt with all kinds of people in my time, but never have I been made to stand while I'm waiting for an appointment.
Oh, I think it's fine.
That's called being complacent. If you're happy to just accept the way things are, you'll never be able to change anything in the future.
Oh, come on. That's just... Now you're just... being...
All right, you two. Let's not get into a big argument over this. It's Qianwei, that was a bit uncalled for. And Mingbo, cut him some slack. We've all been standing around. Look, how about this? There's no rule saying we're obliged to stand up while we wait, so why don't we borrow some chairs from the guild nearby?
Fine. They're not the best quality chairs, to be sure. But under the
It looks like all 3 candidates have arrived. We'll meet them formally soon. Before that, let me run you through the assessment process. I've split it into 2 stages: current affairs and planning, and face-to-face interview. In the first stage, candidates are required to submit a manifesto for Liyue's development. Writing a manifesto takes time, so I informed them of this requirement in advance. These are the reports they submitted.
Wow, one of them is really thick.
It's also worth mentioning a stipulation I gave them. Whoever is appointed as the new Tianshu will be expected to implement their plan as put forward in their manifesto. Failing the occurrence of some cataclysmic event, they will not be permitted to change their plan. Therefore, these 3 piles of documents in front of us represent where each candidate stands on key policy issues. There's still some time. Have a skim through, get a first impression of what each person's proposing. I'll be waiting off to the side. Just let me know when you're done. Finished, huh? What did you think?
Everyone took it very seriously.
Of course they did. They have the chance to be picked as the new Tianshu, so you can bet they're putting their best foot forward. And keep in mind, whoever gets in has to execute their plan as written. No, but that's for me to know and you to find out. We'll see the candidates now. Let's do one at a time. Start with Qianwei.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh? So you two are the assessment officers, are you? I had assumed that given the great import of this situation, Lady Ningguang would perhaps be assessing us in person. I certainly hadn't imagined I'd be seeing 2 entirely unfamiliar faces. I trust you've read through my manifesto? I'd be more than happy to clarify any details you found difficult to grasp. It was written with an expert audience in mind.
Mind your tone, mister!
Relax. It wasn't intended as a personal slight against anyone in particular. I was simply stating a fact. Cloud Retainer? You know this Adeptus? Oh, Yes, I remember now. You must be the traveler that people are constantly talking about. With your sterling reputation, you must have a respectable level of erudition. Perhaps you will be able to understand the concepts I have put forward.
Oh, is it my turn?
Yes. Please, introduce yourself.
I'm, Mingbo. I work in the Ministry of Civil Affairs. I've worked there for, 9 years, 5 months, and 3 days. In that time, I've handled, 2,347 cases. I have 12 active cases at the moment. They should be concluded in, 16 days? My current work is related to urban planning, and I'm also responsible for, auditing the accounts. To be more precise, there are 3 parts to the accounts, namely...
Is it just Paimon, or is he not very good at public speaking?
You know what? Let's leave the self-introduction there and move on to some questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Hello. Not gonna lie, I'm feeling a little nervous. What would you like to know? You're here to assess me, so ask away and I'll answer your questions to the best of my ability.
Your manifesto is very wide in its scope, but you don't seem to be personally involved in many of the specific fields. How can you be sure that you have the ability to put your plan into action?
Very fair question. I completely understand where you're coming from. But I'm confident in my plan. I've visited many different places, talked to lots of people with far more expertise than myself, and my manifesto is the conclusion of these efforts. Of course, 2 different problems can be interconnected in very complicated ways, and you might reach 2 very contradictory conclusions depending on which one you're focusing on.
How do you plan to determine whether you are right or wrong about your proposed solution being the optimal one?
A great question. Well, I'd start by having my colleagues and the secretaries of the Yuehai Pavilion evaluate any proposals before implementation. Post-implementation, it would all come down to the results. If it turned out that my judgment was to blame for poor results, I would take responsibility.
Nice answer. All right.
He seems like a great guy. Everything he said was thoughtful and
Here's my take on what we just learned. As you saw, Qianwei is highly knowledgeable. He proposes many excellent ideas in his manifesto which effectively target the big issues. But he is very proud and incredibly stubborn. He doesn't care much about other people's feelings. Mingbo's plan is more thorough and more measured. You can tell he's meticulous in his work, but he and Qianwei are otherwise polar opposites. Mingbo is not very articulate and comes across as very timid in conversation.
perfect summary. Paimon couldn't agree more. You're good at this, Yewan.
Last but not least, Zhi. His manifesto is full of pertinent details, his methodology is sound, and his proposals cover a broad range of fields. With the depth he goes into in each and every area means it can only be a product of painstaking work. Plus, he is modest and good at dealing with people. But what really interests me is that many of his views happen to coincide with Uncle Tien's. Having someone like Zhi take the position would certainly put Uncle Tien's mind at rest.
Great!
We'll see. Let's go back and report to Uncle Tien.
see. Then it's more or less as I anticipated.
All right. Then let me ask this. The ideas in Jur-E's manifesto are very similar to your own.
Oh, I didn't want to say anything when I gave you the list of candidates, for fear of affecting your judgment. Those 3 candidates have all studied under me in the past. But Xin Wei went on to focus on his business, and Ming Guo has always been occupied with his work at the Ministry of Civil Affairs. Of all of them, Jerry.
Whoa! So how did you get to know them all, Uncle Tian?
Chen Wei was referred to me by an old friend. Ming Guo came to my attention in the course of my work. As for Jerry, that was pure happenstance. We first met while fishing. Gradually, as we got to know each other, we started. Jerry came from a poor family, and his parents died. He reminded me of a younger version of myself. So I started out giving him a few words of advice when we were out fishing and noticed how quickly he got off. Quite. And now, all of a sudden, the young are growing up and I am growing old. How time flies.
I don't know, Uncle Tian. You still seem in pretty good shape to me.
Oh, you. There's really no need to console me.
Sounds like you sure love fishing, Uncle Tian.
Oh, there's nothing quite like...
Fresh fish soup.
Doesn't it? Also, some time ago, Jerry purchased a very special recipe when we've been fishing recently. That flavor makes for a fond memory.
Ooh, combine.
Let's get back to the matter.
I appointed. Had you not asked me why Jerry's idea, this decision must be guided by what is fair and remember.
Understood. Come on, let's go talk somewhere else.
Bye-bye, Uncle Tian. So, it's gonna be... His manifesto was written with...
Easy. Let's not rush.
Huh? So...
No, nothing like that. The assessment itself is complete. But let me give you a word of advice. The biggest no-no in intelligence work is to only get information from the person of interest themselves. The truth is almost always hidden beneath. For example... Wenyuan, Shanghua.
Yes?
Lady Yelan, what are your orders?
Ugh! Who are they?
Did they scare you? These two are Wenyuan and Shanghua. As my trusted assistants, they are always standing guard nearby. They also perform various... Shanghua is a business expert who gets his information by trading. Wenyuan relies on word of mouth. And there's also Upei, who's not here right now.
That meathead must have been out there on sea surveillance for some time now. Is he all right? I seem to remember that he can't swim.
Nothing can take that guy down. Certainly not a little wind and...
Shanghua, visit all the commerce guilds and look into Qianwei's background. Wenyuan, go to the Ministry of Civil Affairs and look through Mingbo's work.
Yes, ma'am.
So what about Juri?
Jur-E, well, obviously as the most promising candidate, we will be investigating him ourselves. Let's go to the docks first. Lots of people...
If we're looking for information, why don't we try to... He does business at the North Wharf. Maybe he has some news for...
That's actually...
What's Polite doing here today?
Look, your asking price for this batch is just too high. I can't buy in at this price. How—
Come on, hear me out. I'm telling you, this is the single best batch of Sunsettias ever. I accidentally dropped one into a well, and even the water turned sweet.
Even so...
All right. I'll let you in on a little secret. The boss of Second Life also wants to buy from me, but I haven't responded yet. If you won't take them, I'll just have to partner with them instead.
Okay, well... Oh, what are you doing here? And to be clear, these Sunsettias are mine. I got...
Actually, we want to ask you about a guy called Juri.
Juri? Yes, he's quite well known. I've heard a story about him. They say he was born into poverty. His parents died when he was young, and he was treated cruelly by the... One of his neighbors was terribly rude to him all the time, but he returned cruelty with kindness.
Oh, he sounds like a decent man. We can finally brave it.
Why are you asking about him anyway? Well then, in that case, the higher bidder takes the... Ah, that's Juri.
Where?
It's him, all right. Looks like he's chatting with Lin Long. Come on, let's follow them and listen in. Try not to let him see you. We want this information to be as truthful as possible.
I'll just go and fetch an employment contract. And hey, don't try and cut me out of this.
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see.
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll see you. Try not to let him see you.
I understand. Let's walk and talk.
My friend, what can I get you?
So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to...
What's the hurry? Don't get too close, or he'll see you. Try not to let him see you. We want this information.
I understand. Let's walk and talk. So, you were looking to buy a wineware set? Oh, now I can see that you're a connoisseur, so I won't bother trying to con you. I trust you understand our shop quite well?
The truth is, an old friend of mine who likes to have a drink now and then. He fancies himself as a man of culture, but doesn't...
How very thoughtful of you. Leave it to me, then. Come and collect it at Shigu Antiques whenever is convenient.
Thank you very much, Miss Linlong.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Juri. These days, it's quite rare for someone of your standing to still keep up with their old friends. It's nice to see. I'll be sure to pick out a good set for you. You can count on me.
Juryi seems to get along really well with everyone. Are you satisfied now, Yelan? Seems like everyone thinks Juryi's a great guy.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions just yet. Let's go check out the wharf where he usually...
Do we have to? Wait, you're not just trying to dig up some dirt on Juryi because...
Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. You'll be able to try all the finest food for free.
We will? Well, come on! Off to the South Wharf we go!
The wharf is as busy as ever. I hear the anglers here sometimes sell their fish.
Welcome. What would you like to buy today?
Sorry to interrupt. We're actually members of the, Liyue Anglers Association, and we just wanted to ask a few questions about someone. We've heard about this young man called Juryi, who's supposed to be a fantastic fisherman. Just wondering if you...
Whoa! Yelan made up a whole fake identity.
Ah, yes, Juryi. He's been making quite a name for himself recently. I've got some friends who travel all over the place, and they tell me... apparently, he had a rather tough time growing up. Had to work several jobs alongside his studies to make ends meet. How does that saying go? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Well, if there's a...
Yeah, we think so too.
But I'm afraid your Anglers Association might be in for a disappointment.
Oh? Why's that?
He's good at a lot of things, but fishing isn't one of them. He fishes at the wharf and sells what he catches to me on occasion. His catches are always mediocre. Not terrible, but equally nothing to write home about.
That sounds fantastic. I've got a couple of other things to attend to right...
Sure thing. See you.
Everywhere they go, they meet someone who's heard of him. Come on, let's keep asking around.
Here to buy some fish? It's 300 for one or 3 for 1,000. You better hurry. When they're gone, they're gone.
Hello, we're from the Society for Fish Price Research. We'd just like to ask a few questions.
Wow, she switched identity again.
Society for Fish Price Research? I haven't done anything illegal. Stay up!
Please, don't worry. We're just here to conduct a simple survey. We've heard about a certain Juryi who's been selling fresh fish at low prices in this area recently. Do you...
So this isn't about me. You should have said something, you know. I know the guy. I can tell you what I know. I haven't heard anything about him selling fresh fish at low prices, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was him.
Oh? Why is that?
Because he's so poor. His parents died when he was very young, and his alcoholic father still owed a huge amount of debt. No one wanted anything. He was still a kid when he first came to the wharf. His clothes were ragged, and he had a bandage wrapped around his head. And he managed to survive, thanks to Uncle Tien, who gave him some food. But still to this day, he doesn't have a lot of mora to his name. I mean, he can afford to eat and everything, but you'll often see him haggling with others over just a few mora. So, it's not like he catches much anyway, so it's not going to affect my business. Don't tell him I said that.
You'd rather he didn't know?
Well, I spoke to him once, briefly, and I just had a feeling that he really cares what other people think of him. I think he has pretty low self-esteem, but hey, it's hardly my place to say anything. And nobody's perfect. I just wouldn't want to upset him, that's all.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing that with us.
Not a problem. And just for the record, there's absolutely nothing wrong with the price of my fish.
The more times you say it, the less convincing it becomes.
Doesn't have a lot of mora to his...
Hey, it's you guys! Wait, what's the phrase? Oh yeah, honored to meet you. What brings you to me?
The truth is, we are but newcomers to this territory. We heard...
Really? People said I know everything there...
But of course. We also heard that Master Dooku is a kind and virtuous swordsman who never turns away anyone who comes with questions.
Great! So what do you wish to know? Nothing...
Now she's lying to a kid.
So, Master Dooku, have you heard of one by the name of Jur-E?
Sure have. You mean that guy that all the grown-ups are talking? I've heard many tales of probably because it's nothing that important. I prefer stories...
Oh, I can completely understand that.
Oh yeah, I know that. Before that, sometimes he gives me...
Just as I thought.
Huh? What do you...
I mean, just as I thought, Master Dooku is indeed as kind and virtuous...
I'm not that great. Oh yeah, one other thing. These days, there's a lot of people I've never seen before talking about jury stories in this...
Oh, definitely.
Great! So next time I see them, I'll say hi.
Certainly. You can also tell my friend in Yenshang Tea House about what they're up to.
Thank you, ma'am!
You're welcome. Well then.
Until we meet again.
Any of that sound strange to you?
Strange? What was strange? Jur-E seems to have a great reputation. Uncle Soon and Uncle...
True. But the issue is, where did his sudden celebrity come from?
Sudden? Too good to be true?
So he returns cruelty with kindness, and had to work to support his studies. These are the kinds of things that make someone well known in their hometown. Do you remember what Doogu Shuo said about Jur-E's stories? Clearly they left him with a good impression of the guy. Plus, there's the fact that all this praise of Jur-E, his childhood, his studies, the thing with his neighbor, none of these are recent events.
When you put it like that, it is kinda strange.
Of course, if that's all there was to it, I wouldn't look into it any further. Jur-E was born into a poor family, paying people to get his stories out. The problem is, do you remember what Uncle Gao said about him? Right, and that changes everything. That's the worst case scenario.
Someone's trying to gain influence over the Qixing? Even if we ask Jur-E about...
First, we need to find out who's supporting him. Remember the current affairs and planning stage of the... Whoever is secretly helping Jur-E must be seeking to benefit from his actions after his appointment. So, come on, let's get back to...
All tasks have been handed out. How relaxing. gaze out upon the sea, prose wells up inside of me. All tasks have been handed out.
Jur-E's manifesto covers a huge range of topics. Looking for details that don't add up will be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I'll divide the reports into 2 piles. You take one, I'll take the other. When we're finished, we'll put our heads together. Officially, the assessment is already over, and I'll be expected to announce the results before long. So we have to get to the bottom of this as quickly as we can. Whatever else Uncle Tien might think of Jur-E, the fact remains that he's one of his favorite students. Any evidence he's left is not going to be immediately obvious. We'll have to look carefully.
Even though Yelan took half, this is still a lot to get through. Well... all this...
Looks like I'm the first one back, as usual.
Oh, hey! It's one of Yelan's little helpers, Shenghua! If you're back, that means you
You betcha. I visited all the commerce guilds and gathered a wealth of information. Every time they asked me to leave, but I always had another trick up my sleeve.
Don't drag this out. Just tell us your findings.
Yes, Lady Yelan. To summarize my findings, most people who've had interactions with Qianwei will start out complaining about how proud and arrogant he is, but then go on to give a generally positive appraisal of him. The young master of the Feiyun Commerce Guild said that Qianwei appears arrogant, but he's very scrupulous in the way he works. Once he signs a contract with somebody, he treats them fairly regardless of their background.
Who'd have thought?
Is it possible that his reputation is fake? Is there any way you can check the accounts of the businesses under his name?
In theory, that should be very difficult. But here's where he buys from and sells to should be confidential business information. Qianwei often sees business opportunities that others don't, but once he's made enough mora off of it, it's like he gets sick of it and releases all of his trade secrets. It's like he wants people to know that they still can't beat him, even if he shares all of his secrets. The fact that someone like...
What a strange guy. It's like he's not doing
To validate his theory.
I'm back! Huh? Why do you think? Obviously, because I possess superior
You... Ugh, whatever. I'm not... Lady Yelan, I have finished investigating Mingbua.
Well, we're up.
The Ministry of Civil Affairs says that Mingbua struggles to get his words out when he gets nervous, especially when he's chatting with strangers. But after a few days of getting to know him, you can pretty much have a normal conversation with him.
In your opinion, was the Ministry of Civil Affairs' appraisal of Ming...
I don't believe so. Mingbua is someone who has slowly but surely earned the reputation he has today. According to Miss Yu, the ministry often gets Mingbua to take a final look at projects before they're implemented. Oh, and also, there was once someone in the ministry who was lying and cheating to try to advance their career. Mingbua gave them the scolding of a lifetime.
Whoa, that's
Like I said before, things are not always...
Ah! So that's what you meant by that.
Thank you both. You're free to go now. So, have you finished?
We still have...
I can't see any immediate problems looking at the individual. The only one that strikes me as a little unusual is the Cheongshu Pool redevelopment plan. Cheongshu Pool has always been home to many secrets. Plus, Ajdaha once... At some point, a rumor began to go around that there is great treasure. A long time ago, with the approval of the Qixing, a mining team conducted an exploratory excavation there.
So, did they find any treasure?
None. The ruin was completely impenetrable. The only way they could have gotten through the solid rock would have been by blowing it open with a special kind of explosive. The technology wasn't mature enough at that time, so the excavation project was shut down and the treasure became a mere legend. Zhi-Yi's manifesto focuses on solving problems, and this treasure hunt seems extremely risky. It seems out of step with the rest of his plans. Still, this one fact alone doesn't tell us much. Everyone wants to get their hands on this treasure. The treasure hoarders, the Fatui, even local Liyue factions. Did you find anything?
Excavation? Project? Treasure? Did we read anything similar in our half of the manifesto? Oh yeah! Zhi-Yi said the Blackcliff Forge workers should get right of first refusal if any suitable projects come
Did he now? Well, that makes everything much clearer. So Zhi wants the Blackcliff Forge to excavate the treasure of Qingshu Pool.
Does that mean the Blackcliff Forge is Juri's secret supporter?
No, not likely. I've looked into the Blackcliff Forge before. They aren't involved with any powerful factions at present. They do possess some specialized explosives, but it would seem more trouble than it's worth to put so many resources into a risky project like this. Still, since the clues are pointing toward the Blackcliff Forge, we should see where they lead. We may well find something new.
Qianwei and Mingbo both turned out to be completely different than what we thought. What about Juri? Is there another side to him too?
According to some of the older Eremites, it does actually rain in the desert on occasion. And when it does, it's always a lot heavier than this.
This is the Blackcliff Forge. Let's look around for clues.
What's this? A diary?
From the back, it looks like a ledger, but it seems they also use it as a site log. We don't know who wrote it, but it's interesting, don't you think?
You think they're suspicious?
Yes. Look, it says right there, one of them's already been promoted to team lead. At this rate, by the time the Qingshu Pool redevelopment plan is ready to roll, that'll give them the chance to take a lot of liberties. They can copy any secret texts or... Imagine if we didn't suspect anything. By the time Zhi recommends the Blackcliff Forge for the excavation project, at most we would maybe do a fresh background check on the... No red flags if all they did was change some key staff. And even if we decided to vet the staff individually, they'd... That's the advantage of planning this far in advance.
When you put it like that, so... who's...
That's a question for the newcomers.
Excuse us.
You want them to teach you? I gotta say, these newcomers aren't my only complaint. I guess they just... You got that right. It rained out. Hey, you're only young once, right?
Interesting. Looks like our hunch, drinking and leave. Good thing it rained today. It means they'll leave footprints.
He went that way! Hurry, we gotta catch up! These footprints are heading towards Liyue Harbor. Maybe we were wrong about them.
Just as I thought. They didn't go to Liyue Harbor. They went that way. The footprints stopped, but, judging from the direction... Looks like we were too late. This has gotta be where the newcomers rendezvous with whoever they're working for. Look at these ashes. Someone was burnt.
Could there be anything left? Maybe the wind could have blown the fire out before everything was...
The odds of that are very slim. It's practically impossible.
Why don't we wait for them back at the Black...
We can't count on that. Clearly they were based... To me, that says that whoever's behind this has moved them somewhere else.
Darn! Guess this is where a trail runs cool.
Make no mistake. The purpose of our trip wasn't to find any solid evidence. We just need to figure out who's behind Jur-E. I smelled something peculiar. Those newcomers probably thought they'd be safe as long as they burned the letters. But what they failed to consider is that paper and ink from different...
Really?
There is a certain place with a freezing cold climate. Some wealthy people there put when that fragrant ink is burned. This is the exact odor. Exactly. The evidence will soon be blown away, but it's all I need. Now...
Lady Yelan! Oh, thank goodness I finally found you. I thought I'd never see you.
Don't be alarmed. This is Upei. I sent him to look into Jur-E. I left him a note at Genshin T. So, what did you find out at sea?
Forgive my incompetence. I'm afraid I've come up empty-handed. I asked all the fishermen multiple times, but none of them had any interactions with Jur. When I got back, I heard that you'd gone to Black Cliff Forge and might need backup, so I went straight...
Well, Uncle Tien said that Jur-E once bought a recipe from one of the fishermen.
What? No, that's not possible. It's absolutely not possible. Lady Yelan, I'm telling you, I spoke to every single fisherman out there, and none of them mentioned anything about a...
Interesting. Then I wonder how that even...
Fish soup? What fish soup?
Nothing. Our priority right now is to find a way to get our hands on... Well, any suggestions? Not a bad idea. Upei, what do you think?
Honestly, I've already tried following Jur-E, but the guy's too cautious.
Okay, so
No, we'll still need to tail him. But first, we need to do some groundwork.
Groundwork?
When you've worked in intelligence for a long time, tomorrow morning I'll announce his victory at Yuehai Pavilion. Take a guess. Be sure to arrive on time. It looks like we're all here. Well then, time for me to announce the results of the assessment process. I won't drone on about the importance of the Tianshu role. Suffice to say that Uncle Tien entrusted me with the monumentally important...
All of us here know the score. Don't beat around the bush, just get on with it.
Qianwei has many pioneering ideas, but some of his plans are lacking in detail, and he easily gets into testy exchanges with other... Mingbo is reliable, but not quite ambitious enough, and because of his personality, he struggles to win people over. In contrast, Jur-E is evenly balanced across the board, and enjoys an excellent reputation in Liyue. After much consideration.
What?
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Honestly, I'm a little surprised to hear my name being announced. In my estimation, all three of us are worthy candidates position. As your competitor, I've become keenly aware of your great talent. Would either of you entertain the possibility of working with me in the future and taking on some of my workload?
I'll have to see. I'm in a bad mood.
I don't mind, as long as I can help.
Okay, well, that's all from me. Jur-E, you'll have some preparation to do. It won't be long before you're informed of your official appointment. I hope you will work hard and make Uncle Tien proud.
I will live up to the Tianshu name. On this, you have my word. I should go. I need to pack my things, and then I think a celebratory meal is in order. Would anyone like to join?
Count me out. I'm not in the mood.
Juri seems pretty relaxed now.
Hey, Traveler, tell me something. What exactly does that guy have that I don't? If you can't answer that, I'm not accepting this result.
I, also wouldn't.
Oh no, if we get stuck here, we won't be...
Follow him.
Yes, ma'am.
We finally got rid of...
Lady Yelan, Juri has gone towards Feiyun Slope.
Follow him, quickly.
So Juri really sided with the Fatui? But Uncle Tien thinks so highly of him. Why would he do this?
Difficult to say, but everything should become a lot clearer when we find him.
I'm sorry, Lady Yelan. We lost him. He's too good at this. We weren't able to keep...
How the heck did he manage? I guess Juri didn't let his guard down.
No, Upe says he's much more relaxed than usual.
But...
Don't blame yourselves. Let's not... If I'd asked you to tail on...
Shinyue Kiosk. He only went in briefly. Upe and I... A few moments later, a man dressed in... I figured that if we spooked him, so I stopped Upe, and I...
Good work. The fish didn't take the bait. But let's go to Shinyue Kiosk.
Could you explain to me how that works? A guy like him comes in, changes his whole
Our customers are free to dress however they please.
Okay, fair enough, but didn't...
Well, maybe I did, but it still doesn't give me the...
Enough. Let's tone this down a little. I'll make this quick. Just one quick...
Oh, he didn't buy anything. He just picked up a bottle of liquor.
A bottle of liquor?
Yes, a very strong kind. This gentleman ordered it in person from us a long time ago. He was only here...
Liquor? And wine...
Where to?
Shigu Antiques. Hey, Miss Linlong. We're friends of his. He's...
Sure. Which model are you?
We don't...
Juri picked up his set not long... Just so you're aware, we don't have many of...
Don't worry. Price...
For this set...
Okay.
Well, don't take too long.
This is turning into a...
I'd just like to point out that...
It's not like you...
My specialty is information trading, okay?
Yelan...
Oh, if we can't...
If so...
What do you mean?
First of all, Jur-E isn't much of a drinker. On some level, if he was just looking to celebrate by himself, He wouldn't spend his meager savings on it. No, this is a victory feast. Held in honor of Juri, whoever this person is clearly enjoys hard liquor and has a Now where might we find Fatui who match that description?
Fatui officials. Should be either the Snezhnayan Embassy or the Northland Bank.
Have both locations surrounded.
Lady Yelan, is it time for us to
get with the program, would you? This is a covert surveillance operation, in which case, we don't need to change tactics. Just change who we're following.
Great idea! So we just need to find out who Juri bought that liquor for and...
But Lady Yelan, if we get caught, this could...
I'm well aware, but don't you see? Juri, stick to your orders.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't worry, Lady Yelan.
I'll be waiting for you at the tea. If I'm guessing correctly, Fatui officials are likely to take action at night. You should...
Join the Adventurers Guild.
Perfect time. Wenyuan just sent word that the Fatui ambassador, Yusupov, just left the embassy.
Qingshu Pool?
It looks like that's where they've arranged to meet. Sensible choice. Qingshu Pool is always crawling with monsters. Most people wouldn't dream of...
Oh no, we gotta go get them!
Let's go. If my hunch is correct... This is Qingshu Pool, full of ruins, crawling with monsters. Anyone with any sense steers well clear of this place. I've looked into the place before. There's a worker's entrance somewhere around here. Follow me. There's been some work done on this place in the past. The workers left an emergency access route. Still, be ready to
Don't worry, we're all... By the way...
They have other things to take care of first.
Woohoo! Let's go!
Got a job for me?
Spring forth!
Time to shine! Watch out! Watch out! You're dead meat! Coming at ya! Hiya! Hey there! Fire! Well, with coming at ya! The Shelby...
As I expected, but this shouldn't be too much trouble.
You guys see that? That's gotta be the Fatui ambassador. That must be the emergency exit.
Take it easy. This is the construction workers' emergency access route, but it's closed tight. Trying to break through would be risky. Let's see if we can find another way. Gotcha! Game's up. Plan's over. Quietly now. Take it easy. Take it easy.
The water's gone down.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Here comes the catch. The waters flowed into the groove, and now the statues have lit up. Okay, now we should be able to move the statues. We should be nearly at the bottom now. Let's wrap this up.
Germinate!
Let my name echo in song!
Gloves off!
Coming at you! Hey there! Attack!
Busted!
Watch out!
You asked for it!
Quietly now. Things are about to get dicey.
I can tell from the aroma that this is very fine liquor indeed. Come on, bottoms up. After you, of course. You'll get there. If you want to stay friends with us.
I'll do my...
You're more of a lightweight than I thought. Already I thought you were made of sterner stuff. You certainly kept it together when you were poisoning your teacher's soup. Come on, another round.
Sure. You didn't leave me much of a choice, though, did you? Just the mention of poisoning sends shivers down my spine. I'm more timid than you realize. Every time I...
Look, I know it has not been easy for you, my friend. We appreciate all, but I have to say, you really are quite a genius at poisoning people. I mean, the poison we brought from Snezhnaya is as strong as this wine, but you found a way to turn it into an imperceptible, slow-acting poison and came up with the idea of delivering it through fish soup. What was it you said? Oh, yeah. You said the soup's fishy flavor
It struck me one day when I was fishing.
You have performed excellently. The Fatui, aside from Qingshu Pool, we also have some other requests for you, which we will...
Don't worry. Whatever tasks...
Did you hear that? It was poison! What a nasty guy!
Hold on. Did you bring a camera? If not, you can use mine. This is quite a scene. We have to...
We've, seen no progress on the diplomatic, but soon Everything will be taken. I remember when I first saw you. I knew right away that you would make a good partner for us. Hey.
How could I forget? The only way is...
Yes. Just look at your two competitors. Chen Wei had wealth. Ming Boa had reputation. But you... And that's why I decided to help you. You know, there's an old saying in the Fatui. Give a starving dog a bone, and it'll go...
Yes. I cannot thank you enough for your generous...
you know the best... heck, when you're not in the...
Uncle Gao said that Zhi has low self-esteem. He was worried that whatever advantage he might have now will diminish... Do you have any more film in the camera? Then get ready to use it. How well this goes for us.
Ooh, is there any more alcohol? Go on. Fill me up. I'm in a good...
There's only a little left. Here, I'll fill your glass. If you like it, I can bring you some more next time.
Whoa, this is the good... Huh? Zhi, you...
You seem surprised, Mr. Yusupov. How could I not? I've sacrificed years of my life studying and reflecting to prepare myself for this position. And in the end, I even had to poison my own teacher. You really think I'd put myself through all that just to become your little puppet?
You imbecile. It's the Fatui who got you to where you are. Do you
see the haystack in the corner? Underneath it is a pile of explosives. And next door in the dark room are the 3 undercover agents you sent to infiltrate the Black Cliff Forge. I'm gonna stay here till I see you slip into unconsciousness. Then I'm gonna set this on fire. Once the flames burn through the hay, they'll ignite the explosives. The ruin...
What?
I took the liberty of leaving some evidence of your contact with the undercover agents at the Black Cliff Forge. It won't take long for people to join the dots. 2 missing person cases will become one as the Fatui planted undercover agents in the Black Cliff Forge to steal their signature ruin-grade explosives. Their plan was to blow through the solid floor tiles in the dead of night and seize... But things didn't quite go to plan. Faced with the overwhelming evidence, the embassy won't investigate this any further. In fact, they'll be only too happy to blame it all on a rogue operation by you. It explains why you acted alone, while exonerating the rest of the embassy of any liability. Of course, none of that will have anything to do with me. When all of this comes to my attention, I'm afraid I'll have no choice but to...
Zhi, do you really think you're... After I die, they'll come...
A record? Because when you contacted me, I also made contact with your associates. I have Theophan. He'll help me tie up all the... He has been eyeing your position. Shh. Sweet dream.
I did a little surveying on the way here and found that you'd left yourself 3 escape routes in case things went south. I have them all surrounded. If you're thinking of trying anything, save yourself the effort. We were here the whole time and have pictures of everything.
The game's up? Forgive me, I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, Miss Yelan. I happened to discover a Fatui operation here, so I approached them on the pretext of joining forces.
This is how you want to play it, huh? Fine. You do you. All we need to do to convict you is establish that the poison in his system is the same as in Uncle Tien's. Nothing else you wanted to add?
One wrong move and it all comes crashing down. You followed him here, didn't you? Let's talk about this, Yelan. I gave you my word that I would live up to the Tianshu name.
Your point being?
When I take office, I can guarantee that I will act in your best interests. In fact, I don't deny that I used underhanded methods to get here. But
you still don't get it, do you? What do you think? Exactly. Juri. There's nothing wrong with wanting to win other people's respect, but when has Uncle Tien ever looked down on you? He was like a teacher and a father to you, but you chose to repay
That's enough.
Of course. What makes this even crueler is that you managed to convince yourself there was no out of everyone in the world. He is the one who
That's enough!
Life is like fishing. It cannot be rushed. Whatever you do, impatience will accomplish nothing. I was just like you once, desperate to prove myself. Only later did I realize things do not always turn out the way you plan. But you have to keep calm to carry on. You're still young. Be patient, believe in yourself, and don't look outside yourself to prove your value. Where's Juri these days? It's been a long time since he last paid me a visit.
Maybe he's just busy.
Well, next time, if he doesn't bring a pot of piping hot fish soup, don't let him in.
Whatever you were thinking about, you'll have plenty of time to mull it over in prison. Oh, I almost forgot. If the Fatui find out what happened today, prison might not turn out to be the safest place for you. Trying to have friends on both sides, it has a way of turning everyone against you. But right now, I have an opportunity for you.
Huh?
Sorry, things are about to get extremely busy for me. Let's meet at Yenshang Tea House tomorrow morning. I'll have someone remove the—
Need our help with that?
No, it could be dangerous. Don't worry. Get some rest.
There is now no poison left in his
Dr. Baiju.
You needn't worry too much. It's good we caught it in time. A few days later and the toxin would have built—
How did they successfully secure? Unfortunately for them.
Uncle Tien will be heading off now.
Don't worry, I will. Thank you very much. You're here too? Yes, the exhaustion.
Luckily, it looks like choosing the Tianshu's successor is suddenly not such a...
Hey, Yelan!
My work is mostly wrapped up, so I thought I'd take a minute to check in here. The assessment process comes to an end here, Uncle Tien. In my opinion, Zhi is not suitable for the position.
You have my gratitude. People can change their loyalties easily.
Is it just Paimon, or is
Don't underestimate Uncle Tien. He wouldn't have appointed me as assessment. Normally, the Yuehai Pavilion would be responsible for assessing the candidates. Isn't that right, Uncle?
Yes, to be quite honest, when I first met you, I concluded that you had. In the end, even I never had any plans to recommend him. I had no reputation to speak of when I first became Tianshu. I relied on Ganyu's assistance for all manner of things.
I have to admit, he's a smart guy, and very cautious. The intel suggests that the Fatui saw him as very low risk, but Zhi was still extremely careful with the poisoning. He chose that specific liquor from Xingyue kiosk because the fiery flavor would mask the bitterness of the poison. He also installed a secret compartment in the wine pot he bought to hold the poison. Afterwards, we also found he had an antidote on him. Had the Fatui official grown suspicious, Zhi would have drunk the poisoned wine himself.
But that's still really dangerous.
Yes, had he drunk the poisonous wine, he still would have faced serious health consequences despite...
How is...
Well, I mean, he is sitting in a jail cell. Like Yanfei says, still, he's cooperating.
A deal? Does this have to do with what you said to him when you...
Yes, Zhi's not the one I'm interested in. If he was as far as this went, I'd have handed the case off to my subordinates as soon... But once the Fatui became involved, things got a whole lot more interesting.
Well, did you?
Almost. Unfortunately, it slipped off the hook at the last...
Uncle Tien? Yelan? What are you talking about? Paimon doesn't understand.
Zhi colluded with the Fatui to try and secure the position of Tianshu. Or, to put it the other way around, the Fatui made an attempt to interfere in the Tianshu selection process. With Yusupov in our hands and a statement from Zhi, we could afford to continue with a diplomatic offensive. Also, we'd be able to gain control of Theophan, Yusupov's second-in-command. Then we'd have a pawn in the ranks of the Fatui. Pawns like this can be major assets. They open up all sorts of new options. Why else did you think I was investing so much time and effort into this?
So, okay, well...
We got halfway. The first part went off without a hitch, and we passed all the information on to Lady Ni. But when we tried to make contact with Theophan, he was gone, along with all the evidence.
The Fatui must be spying on us. Otherwise, they'd never been able to respond.
I found out from other sources that the Harbinger Regrator got involved. The Fatui's main forces aren't concentrated here. It's a pity that Theophan...
I have to ask, Yelan. I remember you showed some interest a few...
Oh, that. I prefer my... Although it'd still be... All right.
Where are you off to this time?
As you might have guessed. But I'm sure if you keep... Maybe I'll see you the next time danger beckons. Until then, keep your wits about you. If you have any more questions...